أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge in Allah, the Sublime, the All-Powerful, from the accursed, evil, wicked doer, the deceptor known as Iblisi, Lucifer, and all of his abilities, all of his capabilities, and all of his associates, and what they're able to do from the worst to the least. I begin in the name of Allah. He is the Sublime, He is the All-Compassionate, He is the All-Merciful. And I send much salutation upon the mercy of humanity, Muhammad, Ahmed, the selected one, the seal of all prophets, the mercy of humanity. And to proceed, we did do that in which we had been commanded to do. We complied with the order of our Creator, our Sustainer, and we revive it and have complied in according to it and look forward to remaining in such a state of compliance. We want to begin in making reference to those who have turned in all of their reports, and we want to make transparent to those who were ignorant of the matters in which we are to speak on. Number one, the Quranic Revolution Declaration of 2021, the year in which it became abundantly clear that a stand had to be taken against the Iblisis within our own selves, within our own communities. It became abundantly clear that it will only be done accurately by the means of the truth, the entire truth, nothing save the truth. And the declaration was made on such basis, that in which has been fed to the masses today of Quran has been abrogated and fabricated, it's been falsified and it's been fabricated. In which way? In every direction known to man is how it's been done. When we ask ourselves, how is it that we have the revelation of the Creator and Sustainer, yet here we are constantly at each other's throats, constantly unsatisfied with what we have, constantly looking for the exact same that those who do not even believe in the Quran are pursuing. And it's only by the means of the Iblis, the one who deceives, making us, human beings, feel what we've done is fair-sighted. In fact, it is a big crime to do such in the eyes of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu. When you decide that the Quran is an education only suitable for certain type of people, or when you take the education of the Quran as non-Muslims take their education. When you deprive and you deviate yourselves, then the Quran specifies within its own means, in its own way, how you have become a loser and we have become winners. From the very early state and stage, we said very clearly, you are not pronouncing the letters with patience and you're not pronouncing them with clarity. From the very beginning, we told you that it was only required to go and look at each origination of each letter Therefore, you would be just fine. But the likes of the models in which they care less, in which they're encouraging to care less about the Quran, and the proof is in how they elect the people that they elect. Presidents, board members, executive committee members. Where did all of this come from? And which of them really do practice and care about it? We will tell you which one practices and cares so much about the Quranic studies and the importance of it in our community. It is the ones that merged all of these Islamic schools into one, yet they charge as much each month as VCU charges per credit semester. Or they go up, and they have been going up on it so much in the salary or the cost of education for these students, for our own Americanites, urban Americanites, to where we can no longer, our people can no longer afford it. This is how well they have demonstrated Quranic character and ability. Quranic independence is a necessity for every human being. Allah made it very simple. Learn to recite accurately with khushu'. We were being shunned at in 2021 for leading salah whilst we were weeping. The Quran having in the position that we were in, leading the salah, was so dear and near, it made our hearts weep. And your board members who could not identify with khushu' made this another reason among so many other dubious reasons and invalidations. But Allah today has substantiated for us that we were His subjects who were in the right, calling everyone to Jannah, calling everyone to the bounties of Allah, and you in your dubious ways were calling everyone to hellfire, because you were not calling one to the truth, and there is nothing beyond truth other than falsehood. This Islam is very simple. So this recitation, people listen to it, and they want to find every fault with it, because it is unfortunately not upon that in which they're used to reading with the mispronunciations and do not care about it. This recitation is recitation of inner connection. Every letter has to be said clearly. Every letter has to be said correctly. Every letter has to be said comfortably. Every letter has to be said with complete control. Every letter must be said in according to how it was revealed. And that mindset has to be in the reciter's heart when they are reciting. We cannot have a recitation or any kind of remembrance or any kind of action or any kind of deed, any utterance in the path of Allah Jalla Jalaluhu that is not in accordance to taqwa. إِنَّمَا يَتَقَبَّلُ اللَّهُ مِنَ الْمُتَّقِينَ. He said it. If you think that He will accept it, then you're contradicting what He said. So now, this is the first thing. Anyone who thinks that they have the ability to prove this recitation is incorrect, let them step forward and prove it. However, this recitation today is calling on every reciter in the world, whoever you may be, to step forward and dispute, refute, if you're being called out, if this recitation is calling you out, is calling out your recitation, then refute it however you see fit. Refute it from the verbiage, refute it from the pronunciation, refute it from any other which way you like, but make sure you bring the clarity and the proof of the Quran. Make sure that, just as we called out the false model emulated and stimulated from the Iblisis at the top, the politicians, which as we can see today, vary from wanting to sleep more to wanting to be with a porn star more. This is where your model derived from, and we will get as top as they are. We will get to that level 10, but for now, we're dealing with what we have in front of us right now. We are the Quranic Revolutionist Republic of the Shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu, declared and substantiated in 2021 through 2024. We are calling on everyone who says the Shahada to have it and to apply it with khushu'. We are calling on every Republican citizen of the people's Shahadatu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam republic to accept and to realize that whatever it is that we are doing or whatever it is that we are administering, however we may be, if it is not in according to khushu', it is unacceptable. A. B. The model of mainstream Islam in Islamic centers, in Islamic quote-unquote communities, as they are unable, unwilling, and unready to reform for the sake of Jalla Jalaluhu, for the sake of that in which is with him. Let them realize that is and will continually be a means of bringing your own downfall. To expect the same results after 30 years by doing what it is that you've been doing for the past 30 years is a mist to those who know and reflect better. What is the difference between the Israeli Prime Minister being invited by the politicians in Washington and you being in your communities and centers inviting the same politicians to come and speak at your gatherings? What is the difference? How is it that no unity is even on the agenda? It has not been on the agenda forever. It's always been about division, and you want to call this some type of Islam? How is it that you have, again, look at Al-Madina in Richmond, Chester, courthouse. You go from 12 all the way to the first, and you cannot even finish. You cannot complete, and you don't care to complete the entire Quran, and you claim to have a Hifz program where the letters are not even being uttered by the teachers correctly. Many are memorizing when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make this an obligation to memorize, particularly and specifically without adequate knowledge. You're not memorizing Quran if you are not pronouncing the letters correctly. People are being taught that in which they have no knowledge of, neither are those who are teaching them have knowledge of. Then the character explains and displays it. Your board members, your imams that actually, and unfortunately, under their responsibility, the presidents, they're imitating politicians in Washington. So how is it that imitating those politicians will not bring the same blackened and darkened hearts that they have to supply the genocide in the Middle East? How is it that your hearts and their hearts are different? They're not. What they desire of the world, you desire of the world. What they despise of the world, you despise of the world. Then you want to encourage the masses to follow that. So we're going to get to that.